Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Katarina. Today's video is going to be my, I believe, 7th update for my Pantat palette. I started this Pantat palette in April and since then I have updated monthly. So I am panning this BH Cosmetics Carli Bybel palette, the original one. And yeah, I will now put to the screen what my palette looked like last month and what it looks like now. So this is where I am now with my palette. So I did have two goals for the past month. My goal was to finish up this matte light cream shade. As you can see, it is gone. And another one of my goals was to hit pan on one of these deeper shimmery eyeshadows. And as you can see, there is a little bit pan showing on this deeper brown. As you can see, there is less and less eyeshadows to choose from in this palette, and also we are getting closer to the end of the year, so I have really been thinking what I want to do with this palette and about the rest of the year, about next year's Pantat palette. And one thing that I have came to realize is that it's not possible for me to use up these eyeshadows. So there is still 5 eyeshadows in this palette. These highlighters that are deeper I have excluded from my Pantat palette because they are too impossible for me. But there is still 5 eyeshadows in this palette, and from one of those 5 I have not even hit the pan yet. I am filming this on 23rd of October, so I am filming about a week earlier than usually. Usually I film on the very last days of the month, but since I did hit my goals that I set for October, I decided to film now. So yeah, we do have about 2 months and 1 week left of the year, and it's just not possible for me to use up all of these shades, especially because I don't think these mattes go that well together with these shimmers. I think they look beautiful with this gold shimmer. However, most of the times I want brown mattes with this kind of shimmers. When I started this challenge back in April, I thought that I will just toss this palette once the year ends, no matter what this looks like, because I do have the Carli Bybel Deluxe Edition from BH Cosmetics, and I thought I don't need both of them, and I just want to get as much use out of this one as I can. But I have done such a great job with this one, so I want to finish all of it. But I cannot do it in 2018, so I have decided that for the rest of 2018 I will be no longer focusing on these matte shadows. My goal will be for the rest of the year to use up all of these 3 shimmery shadows. And even still, I'm not completely sure if I can do it. There is so much eyeshadow here. I will need to use this palette almost every day, or at least like 6 times a week. I do have once a week a day when I do use my random eyeshadow of the week. So if it's not something I can easily combine with this palette, then I'm just going to, use it the way I feel like. I think I can also take 1 day a week or 1 day in 2 weeks where I can wear just whatever I want and I don't have to worry about this palette. But I think I will need to use these eyeshadows like from 5 to 6 times a week if I want them to be gone, because there is so much shadow in there. I mean, there is not a lot in this gold, but in this brown there is quite much, and in this coppery shade there is not even pan showing. And with these deeper shimmers I don't think you need to use them quite as much as some of the lighter shimmers in this palette, because I think the pigmentation is maybe just a little bit better with this one. So yeah, it's going to be hard, but it is my goal to use up those shimmers this year, and I hope I can do it. And what comes to these mattes, in the palette that I'm going to pan in 2019, there is not mattes that are quite similar to this one. However, there are some shimmery shadows that I see could go very well together with these mattes. So I think I will focus on these mattes more in the beginning of 2019, and you know, I hope that by spring I can be able to move this product out of my collection so that all of the eyeshadow is used up. So let's talk a little bit about my goals for the rest of the October and for November. So my first goal is to hit pan on this shade. That is this coppery shimmery shade. It is the last shade where there is not pan, and I really want to see the pan. My other goal for November and the rest of the October is to use up this brown shade completely. And I know it would be much easier to use up this gold shade completely because there is so much less shadow. However, the reason I want to use up this shimmery brown eyeshadow now rather than the gold one is that I think in December, when it's Christmas and everything coming, I think gold is a color I would really want to reach for more than this brown. And on the other hand, we are now really getting into the darkest time of the year, like the rest of the fall. It's so dark, and you know, I love fall makeup, and you know, I love doing that smoky thing. I absolutely love my makeup today. I'm wearing this shadow, and I think November is exactly the time when I really want to reach for this kind of shadows. I am quite confident that I can hit pan on this coppery shade. However, with using up all of this shade, it's going to be tough, but I will try my best, and you know, we will see in the end of November how I did. But those are my goals for November and the rest of the October, and that was also me a little bit talking about the goals for the rest of the years and what I'm going to do after that. I'm still very quickly going to mention my companion palettes to this, because in this palette there is not that much mattes and there is not those brown mattes that I actually need with this palette. So for the last month I did have two palettes to use together with that palette. So first was this Jeffree Star Androgyny palette, and I actually did a couple of looks using them together. I think I did something really warm and, you know, bronzy with this yellowish shade and with this brown. And another palette I have had it on hand is this Bury and Fall in Love palette. So it looks like this, and I have used it somewhat together with my Pantat palette. So I have really been enjoying using those palettes together with my Pantat palette. However, I don't feel like I want to keep them on top of my vanity anymore, so I will move them to drawers, and I will have a couple of other palettes on the top of my vanity that I will actually use together with my Pantat palette. So first is the most obvious one, the e.l.f. Matte for Matte eyeshadow palette. This one I do have in my Budget Beauties project pan. So my goal is to hit pan on this half that I'm showing you right now. As you can see, there is already two pans, but I want to hit pan on the rest of the three shadows before the project ends, and it is in the midway of January. So this is the palette I will mainly be using with my Carli Bybel palette, and today I am wearing both of these palettes together. And then I'm going to pick one random palette that I want to create some looks with my Pantat palette. I think this is definitely more creative palette, and I can come up perhaps with something more creative. I'm honestly not that creative with my eyeshadows. I usually tend to go for very safe looks that I know will look good, and I am not the best with color, to be completely honest. Like, I love colorful eyeshadow on others and I love it on myself, but usually I go for neutrals. However, this palette is so fall appropriate that I need to reach for it now. So this is the Revolution Reloaded Iconic Division palette, and it is a palette where Makeup Revolution has duped ABH Subculture. The color story is basically the same, but the colors are of course in different order. I'm going to say right away that these shimmery shadows are like shit. I haven't even used them on my eyes, but I can just feel like nothing comes off whether I use a brush or a finger, nothing comes off. However, the matte seems to be nice, at least when I touch them. They are not like the most creamiest thing ever, but you know, they seem to be pigmented, and I think I can come up with something really fun using this palette and also the shimmers from my palette. So that was everything for today and for my October's update of my palette 2018. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did like it, please put thumbs up. If you are planning a palette, let me know down below. If you do videos about it, I would love to check them out. And see you in my next video. Bye bye.